The second lesson plan is serving, feeding, and monitoring. And this is where we will begin to learn the appropriate technique for feeding a resident. And you'll have some residents who are totally dependent upon you. You'll also have some residents who are very slow at eating. Try to make sure that they are given the time they need to remain as independent as possible. Sometimes that's hard to do because we want to get them in and get them out. Well, stand up for the resident. Give them the opportunity to do as much as they can for themselves, but always offer. It may be that after about 5 or 6 bites, they're just too tired to go on. Particularly you'll see this with people who have congestive heart failures or severe respiratory problems. The effort of picking the fork up and putting it in the mouth and back and forth is enough to tax an already drained system. And they will probably need you to say, "Mary, are you tired? Would you like me to help you?" And that's when you sit down with them and help them with those last few bites. So we are assuring that we're getting as much nutrition to them as possible. We'll look at how to thicken liquids, because you will have residents who have diet orders that they must have thickened liquids to prevent choking. We'll talk about why we thicken liquids. We'll also talk about the resident's right to refuse that thickened liquid. I just had a case, an IDR case, in where the resident was losing weight and was telling the staff every day, "I don't want thickened liquids. I want real coffee with nothing in it." And the staff were not listening to what she was saying, and she was her own responsible party. Instead, they were providing the thickened liquid day after day after day, and day after day after day she was refusing them, and the end result was weight loss. The facility felt they had an obligation for what we call protective oversight, the necessity to protect her from damaging herself by not giving her the coffee without the thickener in it. And what the state said is that the resident has the right to take the risk of choking to death when they know the risk exists. So how do we get around that? We sit down with the resident, explain what the risks are, why we're offering the diet, asking them what we could offer that might be different and still be within the diet's realm. For instance, on the thickened liquids, maybe they'll drink their milkshake because it's at the consistency that they like and because it's a milkshake. So let's start off by feeding them their milkshake, filling them up as much as we can on the foods that they will eat with the thickener. And then if they're still hungry and they're still asking for something more, someone sits down with them and is there with them while they're drinking the coffee or eating the steak or whatever it is that might cause a choking problem. But all of those things have to be care planned. And so what you need to know is this: when a resident is refusing to eat because of a diet, a special diet and or special thickener in their liquids, you have to communicate that. The resident says she doesn't like coffee and thickener in her coffee. She wants regular coffee with no thickener. You have to tell someone that that's what the resident is telling you so that it can be acted upon. What you don't do is go ahead and keep putting the thickener in and ignoring what the resident is telling you. We'll also look at the appropriate way to serve a food tray, how to clear the airway in an unconscious or a conscious resident. I already talked about thickening liquids. Those are demonstration sheets that you'll have to do.